God, they're wonderful.
Ciao, I'm Enzo.
I'm Celia,
This is Piazza Talk, our channel about our life in Lucca.
and in the Tuscan Hills.
Please hit the subscribe button. Grazie. Ciao a tutti. Ciao Celia.
Ciao, Tootsie. Sorry, I was too busy. I'm probably shaking the cam.
So we are heading towards the winter now.
Well, you're still wearing a t-shirt. I've got a jumper on.
Well, because I'm not particularly cold as a person, that's my thing. Yes,
It's dropped about 5, 6, 7, 8 degrees. I don't know. It was summer last week.
Celsius, which is more than Fahrenheit, so it's a big drop in temperature. So it is, we headed towards winter, and we want something more wintry now,
Warming.
warming. So we got to have pumpkin gnocchi. So what we need is, first of all, a pumpkin. This recipe is not too complicated. Actually, do the ricetta furba, so an easy one. That tastes exactly like the posh one. And
Maybe you should explain exactly what furba means
fur means clever, shrewd,
in a kind of cheaty way.
cunning, yeah. And now ingredients. Okay, first of all, pumpkin is the queen of the recipe. We need a good pumpkin, and it has to be ripe. Then we need flour. In theory, you can also use different flours and not only wheat flour. The important thing is that the flour needs a bit of starch. We need a bit of cheese. In this case, I use some Grana cheese. We need sage leaves, nutmeg, walnuts, oil. You can also use butter instead of oil, and butter for the final sauce, ground pepper, salt, and
That's it.
that's it. Well, if I remember something else, I will add it on the way. The unique thing about this recipe is that we don't use eggs, we don't use potatoes, and it is also quicker to prepare. And we don't use a board, we use one pot to do the gnocchi, and we need another one to cook the gnocchi.
So what's that big pot at the back?
This one.
Yep.
Well, the thing is that we need to boil the lid for that, but if you can see what we got inside. Now we do the olives for the winter. So these are olives, and I'm going to preserve them for winter.
And they're called olive dolci.
They call in Tuscan called addolcire le olive dolci, addolcire. Water
And
and
it's
salt.
got salt in it and water?
This is just water, just ordinary water. I change it every day because I want to remove the bitterness of the olives. So they need at least 2 weeks. Then I check when they're ready, and I put them in jars with salted water, with herbs. Now I'm going to peel the pumpkin. So I need a sharp knife. Okay, and half. And I have to remove the seeds. Let's do this way. What do you do with the seeds here?
Well, I roast them. Don't know what you do with them.
And now I'm going to peel pumpkin. In the traditional recipe, you put the pumpkin in the oven, but we don't need that now. We want to do it ready. So some people use also the potato peeler, but it seems that if you want to destroy it, it's a good way to do it, because I prefer this way.
Would you say this was the hardest bit of the recipe?
I would say so, yes. This is the hardest because it takes a bit of time to peel this pumpkin, but not too much, 10 minutes. So this pumpkin is a bit too much for our purpose. So I'm going to use 1 pound of pumpkin, it's about 450 grams. And I'm going to keep this pumpkin for the next recipe. And now we want to dice the pumpkin. And now we put the pumpkin in this pan. And now we go to add olive oil. You can also use butter if you want. Yes, about probably a tablespoon. Then we go to add salt because it helps to release the water. Then nutmeg. I like nutmeg, so it will be a lot for nutmeg. And now cheese. I'm using Grana Padano, but you can use any hard cheese that you like. In this recipe you use a lot your perception, I would say, more than real quantities. Proportions is very important. I think this is enough for us. And finally, we need some water. I just put 5 tablespoons of water. Now we're lighting the stove. Put the lid on top and we can stew it for about 10-15 minutes. We see how we go. In the meantime, I put some water on the stove and I'm going to add some salt. Not too much because we already put salt in the gnocchi, so that's enough there. And I'm going to move these things here, so we make sure that they don't stick. So if we get too sticky, we can add a tiny bit of water like this. Okay, put a bit more here. Okay, it's started getting soft now. So while it's still cooking, I'm going to break it with a fork. You can also use a blender, but it's much nicer to have a bit of texture. So fork or potato masher.
It is actually an English potato masher because in Italy you sort of have a kind of cup thing that you put it through and it creates like sausages.
Well, we've got a mix of British and Italian gadgets. Next stage is flour. So I prepared a third of the weight in flour, but it's not actually as precise as it looks like, because I'm going to add the flour little by little and see how much it can be absorbed by the pumpkin. We'll start with this. So I start with flour like this and mix it. Add more flour. A bit more. And we're nearly there.
How do you know when you're there?
Because I found that it becomes very hard, and I can see from the...
You're going to absorb any more flour?
Yeah. If we need more flour, after we do the first taste, we can always add it. I want to add some ground pepper, which is always very good. Not too much, but it will work with the pumpkin. And now I spread the pumpkin mash so it can cool down for about 15 minutes. The first stage is done. So what I do now, I turn it off. Okay, we give it 15 minutes to cool down. Now I'm going to do the first gnocco, the test. Wet spoon, wet hands. Make a little bowl. Okay, and we are going to put in hot water. When it comes to the surface, starts floating, it is ready. So let's wait. I can see that the buoyancy is changing. Come on. Okay. Cool it down for a second. We have to check. It is fine. It's nice together, soft, what we want. So we can go ahead with the next ones. So I will also to say that when it cools down, it becomes slightly thicker, so it's easy to work. Okay, this is little bowl like that. One, and every so and so I'm going to re-wet my hands. It doesn't matter about the size. I mean, we want to be more or less the same size, but because they're ready when they float, it does make any difference if they are small or big. But we try to keep the same kind of size for everything.
We apologise if the lights change, but we don't have professional lights. We entirely film on our iPhone Mini 12 with no lights. We do this without any professional or expensive equipment. We hope one day we can upgrade. We apologise about the slight change. It rather depends on the natural sunlight.
Well, today we had the sun and rain. So a minute ago was sunny to get more light, and now it's not raining, but it is quite gloomy outside.
So it would be great if you could subscribe, because that would help us a great deal. So please press that button. Thank you.
And every so and so I go to the saucepan, and the one that are ready, we're going to put here. So I do this job every 2-3 minutes. It's very important to have wet hands and so rinse your hands, because otherwise they get sticky and it's difficult to make the dumplings. And next, let's prepare the sauce. Butter, sage, walnuts. And now we, on a very low heat, we melt the butter. We allow the sage to release the flavor into the butter. Okay, until the next stage we're going to add the gnocchi. Okay, and I gently toss them in the pan.
It's perfect autumn colours, isn't it?
Yes, it's really beautiful orange. Now it's time to serve. Is it difficult to grab them?
No, I'm just being picky. God, they're wonderful.
Can you taste the pumpkin?
We can. And the nutmeg. We've chosen walnuts because we have a walnut tree, and I really think it works very well. But you could use the pumpkin seeds and toast them.
Yes, even the broken almonds will do.
Almonds. I kind of like the winteriness of the bit of walnuts. I don't know. Walnuts are wintry.
We should say also there's a difference between me and you, because you didn't want them with the cheese on top. I want them with my cheese on top.
Some people make a sauce of gorgonzola and cream, but for me that would make it clolly. I like it pure. Just a
Okay,
simple
everybody's different. I prefer with a lot of cheese.
Okay, do you want to try it with cheese? See
Yes.
if it works. It's actually really good.
And adding more ground pepper. Try another one. For me, cheese is perfect. because it does not remove doesn't cover the taste of the pumpkin. Complements beautifully there. We already put some cheese inside, but extra cheese would help, and also the pepper is great. Buon appetito.
Buon appetito.
Aren't you hot? This pie came from the cold.
Yes. I thought it was kind of red. And look at it. Blue sky.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoy our videos, please subscribe, leave a like and activate the notification bell. You just need a Google account and it's free. It helps our community enormously. Thank you very much.